Sorry, can start that again. Cut. Baden. Shoot. I'm gonna take another bite of that, but not when you're looking. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. It's Sunday, it's fun day, and I'm hungry. Today we are making a caramelized onion and leek tart paired to not just one, but 2 different wines. It's gonna be fabulous, and I'm gonna show you how. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it. Hi everyone, I'm Erin from the Wine Sisters, and welcome to our channel where every week we show you how to eat, drink, and entertain like a pro. And speaking of entertaining, it is Sunday lunch that I'm hosting today. I have a few friends coming by for an easy breezy, luxuriously casual Sunday lunch. Honestly, entertaining for Sunday lunch is one of my favorites. I'm going to create a caramelized onion and leek tart. We're in the very early days of spring, very early days here in Toronto. And so while the weather is often quite warm and warming up more and more every day, which is terrific, it's of course scattered with rain and fog and mist and general dreariness. So those warming flavors of the caramelized onion are going to go a long way on this early spring day. I'm very excited about it. Now, there's a few things that you're going to need to go into it. You will need to have some puff pastry. You do not have to make this yourself, but if you're an intrepid baker, knock yourself out. I bought mine and I'm quite secure with my decision. I'm also going to use some fromage blanc. This is, if you're watching from Europe, you're very familiar with it, but this is sort of this interesting, neutral, slightly salty cheese, kind of a cross between feta, a dried out cottage cheese, maybe a chunkier cream cheese. It's a little bit hard to explain, but I guess think about feta if you want. But if you don't have access to that, you can easily get away with a softened goat cheese or even a good quality cream cheese. So feel free to do that. With our caramelized onions, I'm gonna liven them up a little bit by using some briny capers, and those will be delicious. But speaking of onions, we are going to get to caramelizing. And this is what makes this tart fantastic, is that I caramelized mine, I think a day or 2 ago. They're all done. You can see how nice and jammy and beautiful they are. But don't get nervous. If you're somebody who's like, oh, you're making me caramelize onions on my own, guys, honestly, just like everything we do here at the Wine Sisters, it looks fabulous, it feels fabulous, it seems exotic, but it's dead easy, because that's the name of the game. So for caramelizing onions, you're going to need Spanish onions. For this tart, probably about 3 of them. These are these softball size ones. All you have to do is when you slice them up, either in the food processor or by hand, do not panic about the volume of raw onion that you have. It looks like a lot, but honestly, it will cook down to a fraction of what you started with. It's amazing. So don't worry about how much onions you're actually gonna start with, because it's what you end up with that counts. It'll probably take you over medium heat, probably about an hour to get down to that nice, jammy, thick consistency that we're looking for here. Okay, so we're also going to pair this today to both a red and a white wine. The people I have coming for lunch, I have people in both camps. After we put together the tart, I'm gonna talk to you about the wine pairings, why exactly these are gonna go so great, so stick around for that. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Dead easy. This is more of an assembly than it is a cook. Well, you have to cook the onions, but really, honestly, more of an assembly than anything else. Here's a little tip I'm going to give you. We're going to want to have the tart be about this big. This is 8 by 11, I guess? Not even entirely sure. But this is a silicone baking pad. You can tell it's been well loved, well used, and I'm going to roll out my puff pastry right onto the pad. I find that when, despite your best intentions, and I have done this a lot, you know where the best intention leads you, I find that it ends up getting really annoying to have to lift it off the counter no matter how much flour you use and then try and transfer it onto the baking tray. I find that it just tears really easily or it gets really misshapen. That's no bueno. Bye. Okay. I'm gonna roll this out right on our mat. Hang on, I'm getting a little parched. The best part about this assembly, this recipe, I love that. You can pour yourself a gimlet and tonic while you're making it and sip along. It's fantastic. Wondering what a gimlet and tonic is? That's last week's video. You can watch it right here. Okay, no more dilly-dallying. We've got work to do. Okay, so we're just gonna simply roll it out. We don't want it extremely thin, but we don't want it extremely thick either. Okay, so I've got pretty much the size that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to fold over the edges a tiny little bit, just so I can create a little rim, a little crust, a little border, if you will. And that's gonna make everything look really pretty. Just go around really quick. There, we've got what we need. Now I'm going to be using my fromage blanc, but this is where we're gonna pat it down a little bit. If you do use goat cheese or cream cheese, you'll just spread it on. So just make sure it's really nice and soft. Okay, so now that we've got all of our cheese laid out the way we want it to, I'm just gonna give it a couple cracks of fresh pepper. I'm not going to salt it. I tasted this cheese beforehand, and I do think it has a nice salty bite all on its own. Plus, I'm going to be topping it with the caramelized onions, which I've also salted, and then the capers, which are also salty. So I think we're good in the salt department. I don't think we need any more, but I will like the little fiery bite of freshly cracked pepper. Now I've sauteed off, obviously. I've got my onions and I've mixed it in with my leeks. And now this is the glorious part. We're just going to lay it right on here. Probably because of the stickiness, I'll have to get in there with my fingers and spread it around a little bit. But who says playing with your food can't be an adult activity? Spread it right to the edges as well, okay guys? Okay, so I've got my tart, I've got it spread out to the edges, and you can see I've probably got, I don't know, a scoopful left. I'm not going to throw that out. This will stay in the fridge for a couple days tightly sealed. This is brilliant if you want to mix it into a frittata or an omelet, put it on a burger or a sandwich. If you're making any kind of soups, you could throw it in there just as another added ingredient, but don't throw that out. That'll last and it's going to be delicious. So keep that. I also have some freshly cut thyme, and I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit. I've peeled them off. I'm just gonna sprinkle this a little bit over, give it that nice earthiness. Just another layering of flavor. We're just gonna sprinkle it all on. Look, Ma, both hands. Okay, I think we are good for thyme. Good for thyme. Okay, so we've got enough thyme on there, and now I'm going to use the piece de resistance. We're going to be talking about Gruyere. If you watched our fondue video, you know my deep love of this beautiful nutty alpine cheese. I think it goes brilliantly with caramelized onions. It's also why you use it on French onion soup. So we're gonna top it off a little bit on here, just with my rasp, just a little soupçon, just a little shakedown, just to give it a little melty melt. Let's try and get that off there. Can you see how it comes right out? Look how beautiful. Just a little serenade, just a little snowfall of the Gruyere. If you had Parmesan, you can use that. Asiago, you can use that. But try and use the Gruyere. I think, like I said, it's a really nice flavor for the caramelized onions. Okay, so now watch how easy this is. I'm gonna put it onto our baking sheet. We're gonna just sprinkle them on. I'm not even gonna bother rinsing them. Some people like to rinse the brininess off. I don't know why, that's the whole reason why you're eating them. But we're just gonna do like little bits and pieces, right? We're not going to do a ton, so that no matter how you slice up this tart, every bite will have like a little briny burst of caper goodness. One more, what the hell? I'm always about more is more. And one little guy just right over there. Watch how how easy this is. So I've got it on my pad, and now all I have to do is put it on my baking sheet. Ta-da! Like, you don't have to like play around trying to scoop it up, having all the ingredients fall off, it stretches all over the place. I actually think I'm a bit of a genius. You're welcome to take that one for yourself. I think it's a great tart hack. Okay, so we're done. My oven is preheated to 400 degrees. I'm gonna pop this in for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna check on it every 5 minutes or so after about the 10-minute mark, just to see how it's coming along, puffing up, getting nice and golden brown. As I said, I'm gonna be serving this at lunch. Friends are coming over. You can serve this room temperature. You can serve it straight warm, easy peasy. All right, when we come back in 1 minute, I'm just gonna pop this into the oven, and then I'm gonna talk to you about the wine pairings that we are going to do with this. Okay, so while my tart is baking, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the wines that I'm gonna be serving at lunch, both a red and a white wine. Now, what we need to really concentrate on this flavor is that the caramelized onions are the main flavor, and they're inherently sweet. So if you remember watching our video about wine and chocolate pairings, which you can watch right here again, is that you need to make sure that when you have a wine with a sweeter food, that wine needs to be somewhat sweeter. Otherwise, the whole pairing will fall flat. So what that means for us is that what you want to do in this particular case is, with those sweet caramelized onions, you really want to try and avoid very high acidic wines. So wines like Sauvignon Blanc, Chablis, even a dry Riesling, you don't want to really serve that with this tart, because that will just end up promoting the sour acidity of the wine. Instead, you want to go for something a bit softer. So think about a gently oaked Chardonnay, a floral Viognier, a spicy Gewürztraminer. So today I've opted for a Pinot Gris, the alter ego of Pinot Grigio. This one hails from Germany, from the Baden region. And Pinot Gris, as opposed to Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris has a tendency to be a bit more round, a bit more supple on the palate, has really beautiful fruit-forward notes of peach and apricot and some spice. This is certainly a dry version. Yes, there are Pinot Gris that come in off-dry or sweeter versions, but this is a dry version, but it's all of that stone fruit, all of that fruit-forward element is really going to pair nicely with the inherently sweeter onions. So I'm actually gonna pour myself a little glass right now. Also comes in screw cap, which is very handy. How do you like that? But you can even see from the color, like, you know, we've got some beautiful light lemon tones. So I think that's gonna go really, really nicely with our tart. We will find out in just a few moments. Red wine lovers, I haven't forgotten about you. I love red wine too. Again, when you look back on those past videos we've done about food and wine pairing, we talked about this in our barbecue and wine video, for example, as well. You again wanna be aware of the sweetness level of the dish. And so those caramelized onions are coming through. The caramel is gonna work out well, but you don't want to have something really burly, like an overly powerful and tannic Cabernet or Shiraz. What you want is you want something a little bit softer and a little bit juicier. If you go for those full throttle, high-powered reds, what's going to end up happening is those wines will just end up tasting bitter and astringent. So you want something with lower tannin, something that's a little bit juicier, and something that has a little bit more upfront fruit. So you could consider doing something like a Pinot Noir, a Gamay, even a really youthful Merlot that has a lot of juicy notes to it. You just, again, want to be careful of that tannic structure and how full throttle it is. In my case today, I'm going with a Côte de Rhône. Côte de Rhône's terrific bistro wines, inexpensive, really food friendly. This particular one is mostly Grenache. There's also a little bit of Carignan and Syrah, very common grapes in Côte de Rhône, but this is juicy, it's fresh, it's going to go really nicely. It's going to pick up those flavors that are happening on the tart, and ideally what will end up happening is that the tart will bring out the fruit in the wine, but the wine will end up cleansing your palate of all of that richness from the tart. So it should be a really beautiful pairing. So I'm very excited for it. I think our tart is just about ready. So let me pull it out of the oven and show you what it looks like. Hang tight. Et voila, a really easy, super delicious caramelized onion and leek tart. I'm gonna serve this with a really nice leafy green salad. If people want extra carbs, maybe a loaf of bread, but that's it. A lot of wine, some really great food, and some fantastic conversation. Now let's see how this works with my pairing. I'm gonna go for the Pinot Gris right now. Again, like we said, those apple, saucy, stone fruit, light ginger spice notes. Really beautiful suppleness on the palate. I'm gonna take a little corner off. Nobody will know. It's okay. I'm just gonna try a little tiny bit and then I'll leave the rest for my guests. Okay, so let's see how it works together. Hot. It's really hot, but it tastes good. That's really good. I'm happy I didn't put any extra salt on the fromage blanc. That was salty enough. That little burst of salty bite from the capers really livens up the sweetness of the caramelized onion. Hang on. Yeah. That's really good. The lightness of the puff pastry, the saltiness from the fromage blanc. Good thing we didn't put extra salt on it. It's salty enough. Let's see how it works with the wine. Gosh darn it, I think we've got it. Really nice. That wine, yep, because there's just enough backbone of acidity that any kind of richness from the buttery puff pastry or the dairy from the cheese swept away on your palate from the acidity in the wine, which isn't great, very medium bodied in terms of acidity, but we've got some really nice fruit that's coming through and really complementing that saltiness of the cheese and the sweetness of the caramelized onion. I like it. I like it a lot, kids. I'm gonna say this is an excellent match. This is a perfect Sunday lunch for me and my friends. I'm very excited to serve it. I'm more excited to eat it. If you guys like this, if you try it, let me know in the comments below, as well as if you have any questions. I'd love to see what you're getting up to in terms of eating and drinking and entertaining. That's always a huge joy for me to hear what you're doing. But if you like this, please share it. It's the best way that we can get the good word of wine out, as well as give us a little thumbs up. And consider hitting subscribe and maybe even that bell so you get alerted to every single time we drop a new video, which is every single week. Well, that takes care of this week. I'm going to get back to my Sunday lunch. I'm going to try not to eat all of this before my friends get here. Can't say I'm going to promise anything. But until next week, guys, stay well, drink better.